there! How are you doing on this wet Wednesday? We're gonna make a smoothie. I have my beautiful sister Lita visiting with me, and I am going to make us both a smoothie. So we're gonna do bananas. I've already put about 2 to 4 ounces of coconut yogurt, which I made this. So if you have a source which is, you know, reliable and you trust it, I would use that, right? Hi Dawn, thanks for joining. And then I put a little bit of water, and then we have the almond milk. And I know that we have 2 people, so I'm going to dilute it up to, right now I have 16 ounces of fluid in there. Hey Brandy, thanks for joining. Hi. So I'm going to put this back in the fridge, and I'm going to go and see what I got for berries and bananas. She's being very patient with me. So here, back when it was blueberry season, ciao Sergio, when it was blueberry season, I went blueberry picking. So I have 2 big old bags of frozen blueberries, and let me tell you, I still had another bag that I ate. Love fresh blueberries, and when you can pick them, that's even better. I picked 2 huge buckets of it. So, and we're gonna put in some really nice, yummy elixir herbs as well to kind of balance the hormonal system and such. Hey Deja, hi Wilhelmina, aloha. I know you're in Hawaii. So if you're first time joining me, tell me where you're at, introduce yourself. Also, click the share button, click the invite. You know, sharing is caring, so the more people you reach out and you share this to, you never know. So an invite doesn't actually show up on someone's wall, it just shows up in notifications, right? Hi Veronica. And you just never know what's gonna come through that somebody else can benefit from. Hey Bob, how are you? So, yeah, and it's Wednesday. There's a little bit of a hump that I'm trying to get over for myself. I woke up with some serious physical pain this morning. My sleep's all disrupted. I'm honest. I'm dealing with stomach issues with constipation. Hi, Marina. And sometimes I know it's emotional, and you know, also the change in eating. Thank you, Dawn, for sharing. I truly appreciate that. And somebody else may as well. See, that's what I tell people. It's like, you don't have to share it, but you don't know who may benefit. And you know, we want to open up this web of inclusion and include everybody, because it's all about spreading love to everyone, because you never know whose life you're going to touch with the click of a button. You know, we have social media and technology that is available to us for the greater good, and not to focus on all the crap that's all about distraction and propaganda, right? Life is about living it and getting involved and actually showing up, which is what you all are doing, and I truly appreciate that, because if it wasn't for you, I'd probably be talking to myself, and eventually maybe someone would show up, right? So it's all perfect. And everybody shows up in their own divine time when they're ready. You can't force anyone. So sometimes just sticking a video on your page, sharing it, can open someone's awareness, and you'll never know, or you may be aware finally someday, you know, or you listen to a friend, thanks for sharing, Veronica, and they're like, hey, you know that video you posted? I don't know where you found that person, but something in that one video resonated with me and shifted my life. Sometimes I say stuff and I have people later tell me it was exactly what they needed to hear. And I'm just humbled, because I never know. And when someone does tell me, it of course touches my heart and soul. When they don't tell me, I don't get attached to expecting someone to tell me either. So there's that dynamic. We have to be aware of the mind, because the mind, a lot of times, that ego wants to be right, wants to be boosted, wants to feel important, and sometimes it wants that validation that, hey, look at me, what I did. And no, you know, we drop that stuff, right? Hey Carl and Julie. Mwah. So we're making a smoothie. I'm doing bananas and blueberries. I've already put in about, and if someone wants to take down notes, that would be fantastic. I've already put in about 4 ounces of coconut yogurt. This is my own homemade, but you can find all sorts of coconut oils, or coconut yogurt, sorry, not oil, coconut yogurt. Hey Lucy. there is, I've diluted, it's about half water and half almond milk. And I used Califia, which is not my favorite. I prefer my own, and I don't know why. Sometimes I buy it, and then I kick myself later and said, you should have just put the almond butter. Hey, Laura, thanks for showing up. And I'll just dilute and make my own, which in essence is actually better. But since I have it, I got to use it. You know, that's how that works. So now we're going to put at least 2 bananas because it's for me and my sister. Thank you. So I'm breaking up the bananas because you got to break up your bananas. I'm a Chiquita banana and I'm here to say I eat a Chiquita banana every day. Not me. I don't do bananas that often. And sometimes I'm curious if it's, you know, if I have a problem with it because I don't know. Hey, Michelle, thanks for joining. Thank you, Lucia, for sharing my video. So I'm going to do 3 bananas. Well, no, 2.5. I have a feeling that when I put those blueberries in there, it's going to get a little thicker. Because with bananas, or blueberries. Hey, Brian. The cheese is, I might do the cheese next. Hey, Tom. So. Thank you. I know, I was looking at my sunflowers. I've got to get more sunflowers and my happy flowers. Okay, so I'm going to add some ashwagandha to this, which is really good for tonifying all of the hormones and balancing them, bringing them into balance. Hey, Lucy! Oh my gosh, Lucy! I love you so much. I want you to come on sometime whenever you're ready, and we can collaborate and sing together. I think that would be awesome. Actually, you can come and sing, and I'll just do my thing. I know. I was thinking of you this morning. You must have caught it in my meditation. I sent out the vibes, right? We're gonna put a little mesquite. Mesquite is also good for the adrenals, right? So that's the thing. A lot of times we're in fight or flight, stress mode, right? I'm basically putting about half a teaspoon of each so far. Oh, enjoy your time with Tyler. No explanation needed. Turn around and, you know, do what you got to do, and just, you can always come back later, Brian. So I love Shilajit because it's fulvic acid, and you don't even need much. I'm like not kidding when I say that's the tip of my spoon, right? Because it's very, very strong. It's a resin, okay? Shilajit, Shilajit. And then I'm going to put a little bit of my Guggulu, which I had used yesterday, and it's fantastic again. I forgot, I have to look up what is so good about it, but it's super potent, so you don't need a lot. Same thing with the Shilajit, just the tip of my, this is a tablespoon too. Mucuna Pruriens is fantastic for women. I love Mucuna Pruriens. So I'm going to put in some Mucuna Pruriens, and that's probably closer to a tablespoon. Oh, I have to remind myself this is for 2 people, by the way. Thank you, Michelle, for sharing. So, then I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of nutmeg. I like nutmeg. It brings out certain flavors sometimes. So I just did 2 like dash. And then, of course, cinnamon's really good for, yeah, I'm knocking stuff over here. Cinnamon is really good for balancing blood sugar. So if you're diabetic, cinnamon's better than sweetener. No, I'm not making chocolate. No chocolate. In fact, today I asked my sister what she'd like for a flavor, and she said she didn't want any chocolate, so we're good. And just a little bit of allspice. So with the cinnamon and the allspice, it's like maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon. I mean, this is for 2 people. It's going to be really flavorful. And then I have a habit of forgetting I got to put the bananas back in the freezer, and I need to get more bananas. Nanner time. Nanner. And so, alrighty. So now we have the blueberries, which are stuck to the thing. Alright, I'm going to say this is going to be at least half a cup. Hey, Charlene, thanks for joining. I'm going to need more liquid, I can already tell you that. So I'll probably put some more of that almond butter in there, or almond milk, that I have to finish off anyway. It might turn into a smoothie sometimes, or into a more of an ice cream. Sometimes that happens. We're definitely adding ginger. We add ginger whenever we can. Ginger's good for the belly. Immune boosting. It's great for anti-inflammatory. So, hey Wade, thanks for joining. So, yeah, okay, woke up this morning, total pain, like, my right shoulder's been killing me. It's kind of subsided a little bit since I did my practice, but I had those mental struggles that I get, which were like, you know, when you're meditating, it's quieting the mind, but you're also sometimes having to not get so fixated on the body. Hey Laura, thanks for joining. A lot of times what'll happen is people will get so fixated on pain that's where all the attention goes, and it makes it worse. Which is why the breath, again, remember, breathing long and deep into that pelvic floor, expanding up through the belly, the rib cage, the chest lifting, and then exhaling, allowing the chest to lower and the diaphragm to flatten and pull in at the navel point, right? The more you focus on your breath, the deeper you make your breath, the more you're oxygenating the blood. Your organs are getting happy because they're like, ooh, we're feeling vital now, right? They're getting the life force energy, the vitality that you need, not only to sustain you, but to maintain and nourish you, right? And so again, the prana, the life force, is the most important thing. If you have nothing else, you have your breath, and that's yours. Nobody can take that from you, which is why it's so important to breathe. And that when you catch yourself from getting emotional or upset or angry or sad or excited, you have to check in with yourself and ask myself, am I breathing in this moment? If you're not, why are you holding such emotion against yourself? Because you have to open the lungs. You have to get to the deepest recess of your physical being and allow it to be re-alivened and reopened, right? Because without the breath, the prana, when you hold it, like, you're actually cutting your life force energy off. This is why so many people are in traumas, in turmoil, in chaos, when you take control over your breath, and then you start listening to it, and it calms your wandering mind. When you work on the breath, it works on the mind, because the key is you want to listen and strap into the breath. Listen intently and follow. Where's it going? How does that feel? What are the sensations in my body? Sending areas that may have pain and restrictions and blockages and tightness, right? Send it to those areas for healing. And if it's really painful, because sometimes stuff comes up, it's going to touch emotions. That left lung houses your grief. And when you haven't dealt with stuff and your emotions start to open up and you're like, what's going on here? There's a lot going on. And if you're not delving below the surface and you're pushing it all down, which is why most people are so shallow of breathers, they don't go below, then you also are just, again, cutting off that life force, because we need to deal with the grief. We need to feel it to heal it. And so, I mean, yeah, I'm constantly reminding myself on a daily breath. There's no coincidence that dropped in, right? On a daily basis. That breath is every moment. That if you're not present in the moment, you're either stuck in the past or the future, right? And you can pay attention to your body. Is my ears over my shoulders and my shoulders over my hips? Am I alignment, or am I trying to launch forward and my head is forward in the future? Am I stuck so far in the back? You can tell by the pains you feel in your body where your mind is a lot of times. But how often do people allow themselves to sit comfortably and be with themselves? Most people cannot sit with themselves. They have to be busy, busy, busy. They want to do something to distract themselves, right? Hey, Anthony, thanks for joining. Yeah, and you know, deep breathing is so, so important. I mean, because if we're not breathing, we're not living, right? If you don't have breath, what else, you know? So it's important, and it's really important to check in with where were my thoughts just now, and why was I holding my breath against myself, right? What am I holding against myself? What am I unable to confront? And really listen within and tap into the inner child and ask, what do I need to know in this moment? What is this emotion telling me about myself? What do I need to know to be in joy so that I can live fully and more richly? And a lot of times, and I'm a great attester to this, emotional eating is a great example too, because when emotions come up, we reach for something. But how often do you stop and ask yourself, am I really hungry? Is that a signal from my belly? Or is my mind saying, let's go find something else to go get our attention on so that we're not focusing on this stuff I don't want to deal with, that brings up that emotion? Because if you're not able to allow yourself to feel fully what has occurred in your life, it's going to make it really hard for you to move forward in a healing space, right? So, again, we're moving on the smoothie. I'm just rapping with y'all. Hey, Shelly dear. Mwah. Hey, Russ. Thanks for joining. Let's see. What else do we want in here? So we got blueberries. Ooh, that was a good catch. I'm good at dropping stuff, and I'm not going to say it, but I'm also good for shifting energy around my house. I've broken many a glass. All right, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's almond extract because I like a little bit more of that anise flavor. And then I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla also. Where did my vanilla? Oh, there it is. All right. So in this particular case, I'm using the Stevia vanilla cream drops right now. Not always using this. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8's a good number today. Infinity. To infinity and beyond. So I'm going to smoothie it first and see what, how much liquid I need to add. Oh yeah, this is going to be strong. Strong and sweet. Yum. Yum, yum, yum. So this, I need a lid. Well, that was odd. I'm just misplacing things around the kitchen. I do that often. It's thick. So this is a lot more than I would normally do, but it's because when you're doing it for more than one person. So oh, I forgot the ginger. All right, well, we can remedy that real quick. So I didn't put the ginger in yet. I knew there was something missing. I'm like going, I know there's something. So in the smoothie, oh man, see, this is why it's nice to have a little assistance on this. Does anybody remember what? So there's did I say 2.5 or 2 bananas? I think it's 2.5 bananas. It's at least a half a cup of blueberries. I have at least 16 ounces of fluid, but then I just put probably another 16 ounces. I put a bunch of different herbs, 8 drops of vanilla stevia and 8 drops of the almond extract. I'm now going to put a good chunk of ginger in here because I know between me and my sister we like ginger. Ginger's good for you. So, where am I going to take this? There's so many buds on here. I want to make sure I don't get the right bud. It's going to be one big old chunk because I want a lot of ginger. So I'm just going to take off the peel. So what are you all eating? What are y'all doing? How's your How's your wet Wednesday going? Have you shared the video? You know, sharing's caring. Never know who out there can glean some wisdom. So going back to, okay, ginger's great for anti-inflammatory too. It came back! It came back! Yay! Hi, Diane. Yeah, okay. Whew. Glad some of you stuck around. It did come back. I wasn't sure. I was over here on Instagram going, I don't know. Yesterday I lost my entire video, right? I know, I was sweating it. So yesterday I was watching, or I was doing the video with the smoothie and I lost it. I had to send a message to Facebook going, hey, what happened to my video? You know, and I didn't know if it's an issue with this new app update that they made. Who knows? So again, I'm making a smoothie. This is for me and my sister. And I was saying that ginger is extremely good for, hey Sa, thanks for joining, for anti-inflammatory. It's super healing, right? Oh, that's good. So I'm going to add the ginger. And I'm going to be careful because I might be splashing myself while it hits the liquid. I'm making little purple drops all over the place. All right. So I'm going to put this back on the blender because I had forgotten to put the ginger in. Yeah, Michelle, you're talking about the anti-inflammatory stuff or the looking within and the healing? Because that's what it really boils down to. Most of our physical pains, and I know this for myself because I've been dealing with a lot of mental stuff over the years. My physical pains are a result of manifesting how much I held on to for years. And it got lodged in my physical body. And as a result, dis-ease, discomfort, it all comes from the mind. It all starts in the mind, and then the body listens, and the body says, okay, I'll take that on. And each area of the body is a reflection of an emotion, unresolved, whatever it's associated with. Louise Hayes has a book, You Can Heal Your Life, and it actually talks about it. And there's other books out there that do. Ah, a couple pounds of, oh, you had the cherries. My sister didn't want cherries, so that's why we're doing blueberries. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, so we're gonna go back on there and get the ginger mixed in there. Yum. Okay, so I'm dripping. This happens sometimes. So because the lid was kind of open. And I'm always cleaning as I go because I don't want something to go clean up after later. Give myself a little pat on the back, but also less, you know, cleaning as you go is so much more efficient. Hey, Dadam Singh, thanks for joining. So, what else is everybody out there doing? How is your day going? Are you enjoying it? Are you reflective? Are you in? Hey, Nikki. You know, sometimes these things are coming up, and we got a lot of stuff going on around us, and we're affected by it, even though we want to try to put labels on stuff. And in reality, sometimes just sitting with it and challenging what's going through your mind can make your life so much better, because you can go, oh, is that real and true for me? No? Okay, well, let me drop that. Let me drop that story, right? Hey, Marianne. I mean, I'm guilty of having spent hours and days mulling over something that was not making me happy, was not allowing me to live in my joy because I was so caught up in my mind. And do you want to be happy, or do you want to be right? Do you want that ego mind to try to bully you into thinking, hey Dean, that what it's coming up with for a story is even real? Because everything in the mind doesn't even exist in physical reality. It's just a story. Yeah, I've been up early too. So I'm going to give you a pretty little glass. It says love on it, and it's even cold, so you get a nice cold toasty glass, Lily. So it was chilled in the freezer for her. So I got a whole mess over here. This is going to be okay. So what did Tom say that his daughter says this is called? The epic pour or something like that, or the dramatic pour? Hallelujah, hallelujah, yum yum. Yeah, me too. Stay in a blissful, peaceful state. Pardon me a moment while I hand this to my beautiful sister. Lily. For you. My turn. I have a jar over here already. So this is a lot of smoothie. So even some left over. Cheers, everyone. Hey, Lyle. Thanks for joining. So, bomb diggity. What do you think, Lee? Yep. I gotta wipe this all off because it's dripping all over the place. And when what's left, I'll put in the freezer. I know y'all are used to me now, right? Me licking everything. Because if it's that good, why would you want to waste it? Just being real, you know. This is really me. Behind closed doors and in front of them. It's too much to try to keep up with the story. Because ultimately, we all know, right? In the end, we all are seeking love. Exactly like I love glass. Everything I prefer to use glass or ceramic of some nature that's, you know, clean. But ultimately, we all simply want love in this world. The problem is that we made it so much more complicated. Like we need validation from other people. We need answers for things, you know, that have happened in our lives to justify why we deserve it. Like, this is all in the mind, right? The mind's like, well, I need to have answers to feel right about who I am. No, you don't. You need to accept that you are, number one, a divine being. You are God's source. God created you in his image. However you may want to interpret it, you came to this earth to have this beautiful experience, but you get so caught up in the storyline of worthiness because we got programmed by the external, right? Yeah, right? Bag that idea. As those silly little memes you see sometimes, it says, let that shit go, homie. You know, the little dog meditating? That's the best meme there. So I had a dream last night. I had a dream. My sister will appreciate this. She'll get to hear it over there in the other room if she's listening. So in the dream, I got a dog. I'm not ready for it. And I wasn't ready for it in my dream. Aw, thank you for inviting, Michelle. I appreciate that. So again, sharing is caring. If you haven't... Oh, that's okay. It's okay. So when I was in this dream, the dream was ultimately a friend of mine had dogs, puppies. And they're like, hey, do you want a puppy? And I was like, well, yeah, but not right now. And they're like, well, check out the puppies anyway. So I did. And they were all like, I don't even know to describe what kind of dog they were, but they were big dogs. Angel was a Labrador Husky. And so she was a good size. You know, I think at her heaviest, she was in the 70s, which wasn't healthy. And she was a good sized dog, and I always had big dogs growing up. But then, in this dream, this was a puppy, and the puppy was a big dog. And it was black and brown colors. And I mean, I'm kind of partial. I prefer my golden lab, my blonde dog that I had, Angel. But in this dream, I kid you not, I swear it was Angel reincarnated, because there was something about the dog that I was like, I couldn't not get it. And my sister was with me in the dream, and I was like, I was excited about having the puppy though in the dream. And so it was and then I got woken up and came out of the dream because I was still lingering in the dream going, oh, well, wait a minute, where was I just now, you know, when you come out of a dream, like kind of. So yeah, it was a beautiful, sweet little dream because I've been missing my angel, and especially when y'all post pictures of animals and stuff, I'm like over here going, I don't want my baby back. And she's with me. She shows up in my meditations and in my dreams, obviously. And yeah, so in the dream I was like, well, I'm not really in a position to have a dog, but when in the dream my sister was with me, so I guess there was some sort of way of balancing it out. I don't know. So it was a dream. You never know. So now we're smoothieing it. And then I'm going to make the cheese. Are you up for that? That is super yum. Oh my gosh, that was just perfect. I'm gonna tell you, my smoothies don't always come out this quick and that yummy. Sometimes I have to add more liquids, or you never know. I know the colors are pretty too, aren't they? Pretty purples and bananas. Carl. Hey Carlos, thanks for joining. So here's what, and I forgot to look up the recipe. Here's my swollen sunflower seeds, and there's a little bit of a water mess over on my counter because they swelled up. So, you know, you always rinse them, and last night I rinsed them a couple times, and I'm going to rinse them again. Or actually, I'm just going to draw off the liquid. So, I'll get another pitcher. So I have one more little clove of garlic. I'll use that, and then I'm gonna add. I might half and half this. So if anybody out there is willing to write this stuff down, it'd be extremely helpful because I can't do both. And a lot of times I do. I just go at it, right? Awesome, Carl. Thank you. Mwah! Doing a dance. Woo, woo, woo. Go Carl, go Carl, go Carl. Thank you, thank you. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo. So, this is a small piece of garlic. And so obviously you can tell this was like not planned as well, and that the meme, that the Sassy Pants art was really cute and so appropriate. So, you know, we're all going through struggles right now. A lot of people are really being confronted with their past and whether or not they're using it to launch them forward or keep stuck in it. And just to let you know, because if you were here last night and you saw, this is the macadamia cheese. Now look at those pretty, see how it's got all those little pockets of air? That's the fermentation. Whoop, 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 whoop. This is the cool thing to me. I get so excited about this stuff, obviously. Oh yeah. So we're gonna use some of this for the starter for this. Hey Aubrey, thanks for joining. So I've been talking a little bit about, we deal with emotional and physical pain. You know, these are struggles that are internal. We may think it's something outside of us, but all that the external is doing is triggering it in where we have suppressed it and have not allowed it to surface for true healing. Nice to see you. So, it's really important, and so I'm doing this smoothie. I'm drinking my smoothie while I'm making cheese, and it's kind of strange flavors to mix, but it's all good. Ciao, Antonio. Sto bevendo Come si dice? Smoothie is, let's see if I can remember it in Italian. Frullata. Questa frullata è di bananas. Ed anche frutti di bosco. I neri? Sono neri? Sono purple. Is viola. Frutti di bosco. So like berries are like one of the fruits of the woods. No, these are, starts with an M. Not more. More are the blackberries, I believe. So anyway, going back, I love getting a chance to speak Italian with my Italian friends, if you can tell. So we have to drain off all of this liquid. So it's swelled up to the top, as you can see. And I've had this jar for a while. This is one of my favorites because it's a bigger jar. I think, what is it, 36 ounces or something? And I'm gonna have to rinse some of it off anyway. I don't even bother with the filter because there's not as much water coming out of this. It's mostly because all the sunflower seeds are swollen. But this is to basically, my surname, La Bonté. It's French Canadian. My dad's side of the family is French Canadian. And so the sunflowers in here, you soak them specifically so that you can, what's the word? Get the enzymes, you know, the phytonutrients. Basically, whenever with seeds and nuts, mostly seeds, but there are some nuts you don't have to soak, like macadamia nuts. Ultimately, the reason you soak nuts, if you don't know, hey Patrick, how are you? The reason you soak nuts is so that, just like anything, you have to kind of germinate it so that it gets rid of the protection. It's a protection, an enzyme inhibitor. Thank you, Shelley, for the word. As you could tell, I was struggling. I'm like, my tongue doesn't want to say the words. So what happens when we soak the seeds and we germinate them, because technically it's a protection so that that seed, when it's planted, it has that resistance to something coming in. It's its own protective mechanism, so that when if you were to eat it normally, it's got something that was supposed to keep it from getting attacked, or it's supposed to be hardier so it can actually grow, right? So it's almost like a suit of armor, and then it gives that one extra hump for your body to have to get. Hey Art, good to see you. So this is a lot of sunflower seeds, but oh my gosh, I didn't realize it did that much. I may have to take some of this out because that's a little too much. That's a little too much. That's more than, yeah, like I said, this is 36 ounces in this container. So we're gonna I'm gonna take some of this out, and then I'm gonna use the rest for something else later. Maybe I'll make a dressing or something. But for the purposes of doing this, hey, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're doing fine. You having a good summer over there? How's the weather? Where are you right now? Are you still abroad, or are you home now? Patrick, I'm talking to you, so just in case. It's cool to see all my friends, people I worked with around the world. Awesome. Mucho queso. Yeah, a lot of cheese, which is awesome because, like I said, I'm going to show you how to do a particular cheese. So this is it's looking between 28 and 30 ounces. I'm going to venture to say it's probably 30 ounces. And so there's probably 6 ounces in that jar left now. You know, this is kind of forcing me to actually do the numbers, right? All right, so I'm gonna wash these down the sides. Sorry for the noise. I'm kind of sensitive to noises, so I try not to make that many if I can help it. Oh, awesome! And Brussels. Woo woo. Awesome sauce. Brussels is so beautiful. Ah, talk about sex, baby. What? You talking about on my channel, or you want to talk on your channel? So, yeah, I'm making the cheese first, Tom. So if you want to say hi, you can pipe in if you want. If anybody wants to come online with me right now and say hi, you are more than welcome to. I love when people join me while I'm live because it's an opportunity to, hey, Andrea, or is it Andrea? Which do you prefer? So, I love when people join me because it gives people an opportunity to get to know one another. And so if somebody wants to say hi, let me know. You know, sharing is caring. So we're going to add some water. So we're going to add the water. And I don't always measure the water part. Okay, Tom. I'll do my best to finish up in 15. It's not 100%, but yeah. So we're going to do... It looks like when I add the water, the water's at about 28 ounces, but then remember you've got the volume of everything together. And then the seeds go about 29 ounces, we'll say it is, but it's all perfect. We'll see you later, Tom, if you're leaving me though. Bomb diggity, yummy. It tastes a little funny with the aftertaste that I have the garlic now that I touched my mouth and tried that. So, what else do I want to add in that? We're going to use some of the starter, but I want to blend that up first, and then I'm going to add some herb, but not a lot. Because we're going to keep it kind of simple. It's easier if you keep it simple, and then you can add flavors later if you want. I like to kind of mix it up. I change things all the time. I may do half of this, and then after doing half, I may take half and make just a regular hard cheese like I told you I would show you how to do. And then the other half I may flavor differently. So that's kind of the cool way to do it. You start out with the base, and then you take off part of the base, and then you use the rest, right? This is efficiency, right?
Is that better? No, I'm on speaker now.
So, oh yeah. I haven't tried this. This is going to be kind of weird because when you try something else, when you've...
I was just kind of wondering about if you had asked William about what...
Yeah, this is going in the fridge. It's fermented enough. And I'm going to tell you, the rule of thumb is you don't want to necessarily lick your spoon and put it back in. But because it's always just me in this house most of the time, my enzymes get added to it. And sometimes that's part of the whole flavor, is your enzymes are part of it. And it's kind of a cool thing because it's energy. And it can change the whole makeup of it. This is really strong. It's very strong probiotic wise, and the garlic. But it is good. Hi Christine, thanks for joining. So this is going in the fridge. I'm going to use a little bit of the chickpea miso. And then something that maybe you don't know about, this is sumac. And it's got salt in it, which is good because I don't have to add any of the dulse. So what I do, and I actually admit, I get this at, you can buy it online. It's sumac, it has a lot of benefits. If someone looks it up and posts over here some information, that'd be great. I don't always measure this. I'm going to probably use at least a teaspoon, maybe, no, a tablespoon. Use a tablespoon because it's really got a lot of, This gives it a nice flavor, kind of lemony, which I really enjoy. And then I'm going to add it with the chickpea miso, and because I've already put 2 tablespoons of the previous cheese as a starter, super beneficial. Yeah, if someone's on a computer and can copy and paste some information, that's always helpful. So I'm not even gonna I'm just gonna pour that in. But with the chickpea miso, I'm gonna use, it's about almost a tablespoon. Yeah, we'll go with the tablespoon of the chickpea miso. I like the flavor. And then we're gonna pour that in there. And I told you I was gonna do a tablespoon of this. Uh-oh. Okay, maybe take 2. Whoops. I might be adding the other nut seeds in there because that's one of my little downfalls. Sometimes I overdo it because it was an accidental spill. It's at least 2 tablespoons, maybe a bit more. I'll tell you when I taste it. Hi Trina, thanks for joining. Thank you for sharing the video. I appreciate you. Thank you. So Art didn't even see yet, but the blueberry banana smoothie I made for me and my sister. There's some coconut yogurt that I realized I still had in the fridge. There's also some different Ayurveda herbs, which are really good for balancing the body. I also put in here some almond butter or almond milk, which you can use almond butter. That's a trick people don't know about. You get good quality almond butter, make the almond milk as you need it. You can sweeten it with dates, you can add cinnamon to it and nutmeg or ginger, whatever you like for flavor. It's so much fresher, so much better. You can make that frothy type of almond milk and you don't need to strain it unless you're funky about pulp. It's even better. Hey Kevin. Kevin will probably like that. So there's vanilla. I did use vanilla cream stevia, but again, I sometimes also use the bean, vanilla bean. And then there's some almond extract because I wanted to kind of enhance the flavors a little bit more. The almond milk that I did have, because I was a little lazy and I put a big old chunk of ginger in that, is from Califia. It's not my favorite. So from the beginning, I made my smoothie. Now I'm making a sunflower a sunflower cheese. Hey Wendy, thanks for joining. Basically, I soaked 36 plus ounces, probably closer to 40 ounces, of sunflowers overnight. I rinsed them, strained them, rinsed them, strained them, and then I put them in the pitcher. There are 2 tablespoons of starter from the macadamia cheese I made yesterday. And then it's also 1 little small piece of garlic. And I put about 1 tablespoon of chickpea miso. And then 2.5 of, it's also a salted sumac for eating, you know. The probiotics are gonna actually eat that. And then let's see, yeah, we're gonna blend this baby up and then see if I need to add these because I accidentally spilled over. Hey Jeanette, the sumac a little bit more than I normally would put in there, but it's okay. It could end up turning fine. Like I said, I go by taste. That's one of my things. If something's really, really good and I have recipes written down across all over the place, it just depends. And I have to find the recipe for a bunch of different things. So I know they're nearby. I just didn't have time to do it because we kind of had a little bit of a family emergency. My sister's here now, so. Lid. Pitcher lid. So I'm adding more water because in this case we just add as we go. And sometimes you have, in these particular pictures, sometimes, oh yeah, I'm serious. We wear short shorts, you're so cute. Natto, you know what, I've never tried natto. Natto. Hi Annette, thanks for joining. So, yeah, this will be really yummy. I can't wait to see how it turns out. Alright, so there's an air bubble in there because it was blending before I added more water. Hey Saba, nice to see you. Thanks for joining. And so we're making sunflower cheese. Lacto fermented because I do a lot of culturing and probiotic style foods, stuff that's good for the belly. Actually, that's not as bad as I thought it would. I might need more. I might need more salt. Not salt, but dulse, right? Yeah, it's actually not as salty as I was anticipating, so I need more. So that's good to know. Alrighty, so what I'm gonna add to this, because flavor-wise it's missing something. It needs something. What does it need? It's gonna get dulse. Dulse. So, yeah, I've heard it's good for you. Is it sounds like miso though. When natto, is it the same as miso? Because I don't know about it. So we're doing 2 tablespoons of the dulse. And of course I don't measure, I just start pouring it, which is why I thought I had too much of the sumac. So sumac kind of imparts a little bit of a citrusy flavor, like lemon. Keep forgetting to get your water kefir grains started. I have some too. My sister gave them to me a long time ago, and I haven't used them, but they're supposed to stay good. So flavor-wise, I feel like I'm going to need some more stuff in here. I'm going to add some Italian seasoning to this. I'm just feeling guided to put some in there. It's maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon. Yeah, I stopped doing milk a long time ago. I just feel better on, I can make all the kefirs and all that using like coconut and stuff like that. I'm putting a couple sprinkles of mustard seed powder in. Probably gonna equate to like a 1/16 of a teaspoon. It's really not much. And then, yeah, let's see what happens with this. And then I still need more water because clearly it's soaking everything up. I'll just rinse down the sides a little because that's what I typically will do. It's a little bit, what's the word? Kind of like me, hard-headed, right? I know some of y'all don't want to miss Tom, but I might not finish in 15 minutes. Some of the mellow white. I'm gonna put another, I had put some chickpea miso in there already. Yeah, I also have something similar with, as much as I actually don't have a problem with dairy technically, But you have to be careful about certain dairies, because with my gluten wheat sensitivity, I got to consider what the animal eats. And so, you know, it's funny because for me, I never had an issue with diarrhea growing up. I always had a problem with the constipation from the wheat and the gluten, which is the unfortunate aspect. But with dairy, I almost feel like when I did have dairy, it almost balanced it out. And it's probably because they're totally different acids that your stomach uses to digest. But also because it softened things out. It's a crazy subject, but all right, so it's being stubborn, let's say. So I'm going to add another tablespoon of this is the mellow miso, which it's almost the same as the chickpea. Is a little bit more of a sharpness to it to me, flavor-wise. And again, miso that's aged is the only soy product you'll ever catch me having. I don't do tofu, I don't do tempeh. They say tempeh is supposed to be okay because it's fermented. I just don't have that desire. I really don't. Sweet. Dates for dessert. You're cool. You're cool, Carl. Cool, Carl. Alright, so one of the problems is sometimes there's an air pocket down by the propeller, they'll call it, because it really does get in there. There we go. I got it. That's what it was. Cow's milk is for baby cows. I know, and you know what? Everybody has to find their way. So, you know, if people are consuming animal products, I'm not going to tell you it's right or wrong. You know, you're going to find your way eventually to whatever works for you. And if it's working, that's great. I'm not going to judge it. I know that for me, when I came to the plant-based whole foods lifestyle, I didn't do it for animal treatment. I did it because I had actual physical symptoms and issues. So as a result, I'm going to turn you back on a second. As a result, bear with me a second. As a result of my gluten intolerances, I had to change my diet. And the reason I had to change my diet is because I realized I had to trace back to what is my food eating. And if my food is eating something and I'm allergic to it, it's passing it through by, you know, just like secondhand smoke. Same scenario, but even worse, right? So on top of that, it just took me time to go, ooh, you know, I really loved my steak and I loved my butter. But then, you know, learning more and more as I've gone, just like with the tofu. But I'd be honest with you, I did make a tofu chili and it messed with my stomach. Tofu like totally threw me under the bus. I would break out, it messed up my hormones, I could tell, but I just stopped. I was like, you know, I don't need to be doing soy. I don't like the taste of it. The only thing people like when they're eating soy is the flavors that are added to make it taste good. Because tofu on its own, guaranteed, you don't like it. You have to dock it up, and that's where our sensations, and that's where you're kind of fooling yourself. It's not healthy. I know that my dad said my grandmother started doing soy before she found out she had cancer. My grandmother was a nurse, and she was the type of person that took very good health to take care of herself, right? And so as a result, my grandmother's health took a turn in the opposite direction, but no, we didn't realize it until we've been having conversations. My dad and I are like, my dad had told me to take soy lecithin for the cholesterol deposits that were around the eyes and stuff, but that wasn't even what was causing the deposits. And so that I remember, because it really messed up my stomach, and I remember a friend of mine saying I can't have soy because it messes with my stomach, and at that time I was ignoring the symptoms my stomach was feeling. I was like, oh, oh, I'm fine with it. Like, you ignore the signs your body's telling it a lot of times, right? So, yeah, my dad and I were sitting talking a few times going, you know, and he told me that Grammy was the one that said, oh yeah, take soy lecithin, it's supposed to be good for the cholesterol. And my dad told me that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my grandmother was doing soy before she passed away, before they found out she had cancer. And when they opened her up, she had tumors the size of grapefruits inside of her. You know, and my grandmother had never had a hysterectomy or anything. She was completely intact. She used to walk them all every morning super early. And I remember thinking, wow, that's dedication, you know. She was very devout. She went to church every Sunday. I used to go with her. And, but truly, I mean, I can look at her and I can also say she also had a lot of internal stuff that she probably didn't deal with because she didn't really talk out openly about stuff. And even hugging her sometimes felt a little distant, right? Hi, Sam.